What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Theta. I'm also going to be talking about T-Drop and T-Fuel. So make sure you guys stay clear till the very end of today's video. Super excited about today's video. We're going to be running over some super important things when it comes to the Theta network and when it comes to these crypto markets as a whole. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. So we have Theta over here on the left and we have the NASDAQ over here on the right. And the reason I'm showing you guys this comparison is the difference between the internet bubble and the crypto bubble, because there's really not much of a difference. You can see the NASDAQ did a big run back in the late 90s, followed by a big correction, which was the internet bubble pop. Then we bottomed out and we started to turn around here on the NASDAQ and really go to the moon. In fact, a lot of people don't know this, but this is the internet bubble right here. And this is what happened to the NASDAQ composite index after the internet bubble popped. We went all the way to the moon. It went completely parabolic and went to the moon after the internet bubble had popped. But most people just focus on the fact that there was an internet bubble, that it popped, and that everybody panic sold. So you can see how there's pretty much no difference between Theta and the NASDAQ composite at the bottom of the internet bubble in 2003. It looks virtually identical in every single way. And this is a good way to study cycles. And if you guys don't know, I do have a free ebook. Go to my Discord, go to Knowledge and Links, and in here, you'll see a link for the free ebook. And I talk all about market cycles in Chapter 10. So in Chapter 10, I go in depth about the way these cycles move. And I actually made this ebook back in 2019 before Bitcoin had bottomed out at 3K. And it bottomed out at 3K and then went all the way to 70,000. So this chart right here that I made back in 2019, I was looking at the cycle, telling people it was going to bottom out based on market cycle analysis. And of course, it went all the way to 70,000 because these market cycles work. If you understand the market cycle, it actually works to be able to properly predict these markets. So I was calling for a bottom on Bitcoin right here at 3K per coin in preparation for a big reversal. Like I said, it went all the way to 70,000 per coin after that bottom. And that bottom, I was able to determine where the bottom was based on the market cycle. So if we look here on the NASDAQ composite index, that depression phase right here is also the despair phase. You can interchangeably use those two words. Despair and depression are the same phase in the market cycle. And that's exactly where we are at right now on Theta. We're in the depression phase of the cycle where everybody's panic selling. We're at the bottom of the cycle, ready to turn around and go to the moon. So just having an understanding of these cycles and the way the markets work and the price action that can come after the despair phase of the cycle can help you so much to position yourself where you're the person that's buying down here at the bottom of these cycles when everybody else is bearish in preparation for the absolutely most profitable moves that you can possibly get. And the reason it's so profitable is because you bought the bottom, you bought despair, you bought when other people were too afraid to buy. That's what makes you so good at trading and investing. If you can understand these cycles and buy in despair, in depression, at the point where everybody else is selling, when you do that, you're doing better than 90% of the market because you get the best possible entry. So that's why I say, you guys, Theta has big things coming. If you understand the cycle, you know what happened during the internet bubble, you understand what came after the internet bubble popped and bottomed out, you get pretty excited when you look at the Theta chart. You've got a big smile on your face because you know how much money people are going to make. So just to kind of show you guys what I mean, I have the NASDAQ composite over here on the left, and I have Theta token over here on the right. And you can see in the big picture, this is what I'm talking about. This is the internet bubble right here, and here's Theta right now. The crypto bubble that happened in 2021. It's the same story happening again, just with a different type of technology and a different time. And so the recovery that's coming for this coin is going to be absolutely insane. it's going to blow people away. They're going to be shocked at how much growth comes in this market. So that's the NASDAQ comparison to Theta. Very important to understand. It's important to understand that we're in the despair phase of the cycle and how important market cycles are for your trading and your investing. That despair phase is the most profitable point to be picking up your favorite coin or your favorite stock or whatever you're trading and investing in. And also, by the way, that despair phase usually happens after about a 70 to 95% drop. So the final point where the bottom of the market is usually between 70 and 95% down from the peak. With altcoins, we get drops closer to 95% most of the time. With Bitcoin, we get about an 84% drop. With stuff like the NASDAQ index, we got just over 70% down from the peak because it's a more established, less volatile indice, right? Whereas crypto is less established, more volatile, so you're going to have bigger swings up and down. Bitcoin behaves a lot more like how the NASDAQ does because it's more mature. Altcoins behave a little bit more volatile. They drop harder. They'll go down like 95% usually from their top before they bottom out. Ethereum is a really good example of this. If we look at Ethereum, same type of thing, right? Same cycle pretty much. If you look at Ethereum over here on the left, Ethereum came down about 94% from its peak, and that ended up being the depression phase of the cycle, the despair phase. Then it led to the big breakout that was so profitable in 2021, the big crypto bubble that happened in 2021. That's what happened was the market fell 95%. It went into the despair phase of the cycle, bottomed out, and then went to the moon. And I was bullish on Ethereum at this exact point because of the stuff that I put in this ebook. So make sure you guys have this ebook. If you don't have it already, you can print it out. It's only like 38 pages. So you could print it out and staple it and have your own copy of it. Very powerful ebook. Definitely go through and read this. It will change your life if you read this ebook. I can promise you that. So that's what I mean. These cycles are the same over and over. If we look at Theta, we're down about 95% from our peak, a little bit closer to 97, but some of these altcoins go a little bit further than 95%. There's a little bit of a range there, but we're at the despair phase of the cycle, really ready to turn around, just like what happened to the internet bubble, but also just like what happened to Ethereum here at its bottom in 2018 before it went to the moon. It's the same story we're seeing in these markets playing out just at a different time. And by the way, if you guys want to learn more about this stuff and get hands-on with your trading and investing, make a bunch of money in these markets, then apply for my one-on-one coaching. You can sidestep all the problems, all the emotion, all the stuff that sucks about trading, and really just start to make money right away, start to make profit in these markets and change your life because you have a correct understanding of the way that the markets work. So apply for my one-on-one coaching program. I'd love to have you part of the team. Another thing I wanted to talk about in today's video is the bullish divergence that we see here on Theta. We have a lower low in price on the 10-day candlesticks, but we also have a higher low on the MACD. So this is a huge bullish divergence signal here on Theta, to have this big lower low here, followed by a big higher low on the MACD. That is a huge buy signal, and it really tells me that we're nearing the bottom of this cycle on Theta. By the way, you guys, this is the exact same thing that happened to Cardano when it bottomed out in 2020. The price of Cardano went for one more big lower low, and the MACD did a big higher low. The big bullish divergence signal on the 10-day candlesticks right at the point of despair, of depression, and that's what led to this big bullish breakout on Cardano. And if we put Cardano on the logarithmic chart and we put Theta on the logarithmic chart as well, you guys can see this is what capitulation, despair, depression, the bottom of the cycle looks like. Here's Cardano right here at its bottom in 2020. And here's Theta currently, same type of move, same type of big crash where the market falls off a cliff, people freak out, they think it's going to go down forever. Everybody starts calling for a bear market, even though it's already been in one for the past like 2-3 years. And that ends up signaling the bottom of the market right where the biggest upward moves start coming. The biggest bullish reactions right at that point of despair of depression. So study these cycles not only on the linear charts, but also on the logarithmic chart as well, because it'll give you a really good idea of what it looks like when there's that final sell-off in the market that is really brutal and really big and causes pretty much everybody to panic sell unless they understand the cycles. But that's also the best possible opportunity you can find in the market for getting a good entry. And last but not least, here on Theta, we're also extremely oversold. If you guys don't know, if you look on the MACD, we're oversold on some time frames, but if you look at the RSI, we are extremely oversold on the RSI. We've only been this oversold one other time, and that was before we went all the way up to $3.70 after hitting our bottom at 50 cents. So we're really at that point where the market is extremely undervalued in the short term, and we're really ready to come up off of these lows due to the fact of how oversold we are in this market. When the market is this oversold, you're going to get some type of a bullish reaction. It's just a matter of time before the market sees some type of a bullish move based on how oversold the market is at that point. So that's my view on Theta. Let's pull up the T-drop chart first, and then we'll go over to T-fuel as well. If we look at T-drop is a very similar kind of thing here. The way that this works with T-drop is pretty dang simple. We're in the despair phase of the T-drop cycle as well. I know we don't have the big pump like we do on T-fuel and on Theta with the big pump leading up to the correction. We just have a big correction. But you can still imagine that there's a pump there, because the only reason that these coins do these big corrections without the pump previous to it is because they usually get added to public exchanges right at the beginning of a bear market. So you'll see these big crashes without a pump before it. But it's still the same thing. It's basically, if it could have been released sooner, it would have pumped with all the other coins and then crashed with all the other coins as well. So you can kind of just imagine, that there was a pump that happened there to get an idea of where you're at in the cycle, even if there wasn't any place to trade that token during that period of time, because that gives you an idea of where you're at in the cycle. This would have been euphoria up here, then we have anger and depression right now. That's a point of maximum financial opportunity of the market cycle. So we're really at that point here on T-drop where we're going to turn around, bottom out, and start to see a big bull market. This is the same thing that ICP did. We have a big crash right here because it got released on public exchanges right at the beginning of a big bear market. And you can see that ICP also did its anger phase right here, followed by one more lower low, also known as depression or despair of the cycle. And now we're starting to bottom out right now as we speak. And because we're bottoming out, this is exactly what's coming for T-drop. Same point in the cycle where we come out of the depression phase, start to turn around and go up for a new cycle. By the way, when it comes to T-drop and it comes to T-fuel and it comes to Theta, all three of these coins I expect to go all the way to a new all-time high. So buying down at the bottom of these cycles is the most profitable thing you could possibly do. Like, T-drop is the best entry you could possibly get right now as we speak. It's a perfect entry. So be watching for a big reversal in this market all the way to a new all-time high in the big picture. Could take some time to get there, but it'll probably happen faster than what most people are thinking right now, with how many people are bearish in the markets, how many people aren't seeing this market accurately. It'll probably happen pretty dang fast, pretty dang soon. So, keep your eyes open and be watching for that reversal. We're at the point of the cycle where we're ready to turn around, where we're coming out of depression into a new market cycle. And the same is true for T-fuel as well. If we pull up the T-fuel chart, it also did the same thing. We have anger right here, and we have depression right here. So this is the point of the cycle where T-fuel is ready to turn around and bottom out right here and start to go up for a new all-time high and blow everybody away and make a lot of people super, super rich. But it's not going to make you rich if you panic sell, if you freak out, if you go follow all of the people on X, all the people out there that are bearish all the time. You're not going to make any money. The only way you're going to make money on this coin is if you buy the dip and you buy the despair phase of the cycle and get the best possible entry you can. So we have big things coming in Theta, big things coming for T-Drop, T-Fuel. All three of these coins, I firmly believe, will go all the way to a new all-time high. The best thing you could be doing is accumulating. The worst thing you could be doing is worrying about what other people think about these coins. If you believe in Theta and the Theta network as a whole, and you understand its value proposition, trust that. Just keep holding on. You will be financially rewarded and compensated for it. I can pretty much guarantee it. So be ready for a big move in the big picture. Keep positioning yourself and really set yourself up for the most possible profits. And the way to do that is to buy the dip, buy people's fear, buy when other people are freaking out. Last week, we were in a state of extreme fear on the fear and greed index. Yet there's people out there trying to call a top on the crypto markets. You guys, crypto markets don't top out in extreme fear. They top out in extreme greed. Two completely different things. So the opportunity is extremely high. If you guys want to get rich in these markets, don't listen to the crowds. That's my update on Theta, my update on T-Fuel, and my update on T-Drop. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love and appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and share it with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. And as always, stay profitable out there.